You're 8 years in the case, and then you get hit with a federal indictment.
2005
it was 2005.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I'm thinking, so something happened with one of your homeboys
Yeah.
and a police officer?
Yeah, it was for an attempt. Whatever had happened on the streets, I didn't know yet because I was in the hole. So I was kind of like secluded. I hadn't been on the phone, not receiving no mail. Then all of a sudden, I'm getting released back to my unit, like to the unit, to my cell and everything. So cops come and get me. They're like, "Oh, you're going back to your cell." So I'm like, "Oh shit, okay, what the fuck?" Taking me out. I walk out. They're taking me across. I'm going back to my cell, and there was a bunch of the hoodahs were outside. And as I'm walking out, my head's bald. I have a HG blasted on the back of my head. So as I'm walking out, they see me and I hear them. They say, "Oh, look, that fool's from Hawaiian Gardens or whatever." And I was like, I looked back, and then I turned around and kept walking. And then as I'm walking, like, you get that sixth sense. So like all the hairs in the back of my neck just was boom, like just stood up, and I'm like, fuck. And I just had this feeling, like this fucked up feeling. And then as I'm walking, it was one of the homies. He was like a porter, and he's like with this, telling me like, "Look, they're fucking like they're following you." So I'm like, whatever. So I'm walking to my cell, get all the way to my cell. I'm like in the last cell, cell 13. Get to my cell, I go in. The cops come and they're like, "Hey, what's your name?" So they asked me my name, told them my last name. I said my name's Adami. They're like, "Okay, you're going to Wayside." And I'm like, "Okay, like whatever, fuck it, So then they call Wayside Line. I'm chilling, whatever. I took it serious. So I start packing all my shit. Then boom, they call Wayside Line. They call a few names, and then they're like, "Okay, that's it." Boom. So they call my name. They rack my door. I go out there. They line us up. I've never been to Wayside, so I didn't know how it went down, or their process of how they did it. So they take us out. We go out there, and they're like, "All right, everybody, put your property down." And then they get us against the wall. They pat us down, and then they were like, "All right." They handcuff me first, and then they fucking tell everybody, "All right, guys, all go back to your cell." And I was like, "What the fuck?" So all these fools, whoever, and they go back to their cell, and then once everybody's gone, just all kinds of cops started coming from all the different floors, and they were fucking deep there, right there. And then I'm like, "Oh fuck," like I still don't know nothing, so I'm like, "What the fuck did I do?" Like, what the fuck. And then so they come, and they kind of like press up on me, and they're like, one cop's over here like, "Where you from? Where you from?" And this other cop's like, it's over here talking shit in this ear, and this dude's talking shit. And then I fucking just got frustrated, and I turned around. This fool's like, "Where you from?" So I tell him, "I'm from Hawaiian Gardens." Boom, as soon as I said it, the cop over here hit me. Bam. Started fucking me up. Started beating the shit out of me. They fucking they stomped me out, like to the point where I was out. They fucking laid me out, and I'm handcuffed. So they pepper sprayed me, and I'm just like fucked up. So then they get me. They're trying to get me up, and then they had it was like a lieutenant or something. He comes out of somewhere, like some office or some shit, or out of the bubble. They have the little bubbles in the hallways.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hey, what the fuck you guys are doing, this and that?" And then one of the cops, all he had to say, he's like, "Oh, this fool's from Hawaiian Gardens." And then he's like, "Oh, what the fuck? Like, why the fuck you doing that out here? So like all these dudes can see you, man. Fucking take them somewhere and handle that shit." And I'm like, fuck. In my head, I'm like, what the fuck's going on? So these fools pick me up. They pretty much pick me up, and like the way they have me handcuffed. They have like their under my arms, and then I'm just like my tippy toes, and they're just dragging me across the floor to a unit. Take me to a unit. They put me in the day room, and so I'm sitting there, and I'm like thinking like, fuck, well, what could I do? Like, like what the fuck's going on? And the phone, I seen the phones, so I hit the phone off the receiver, and I heard a tone, and I was like trying my hardest to like call. I was trying to call my mom so that my mom could contact my lawyer, because I had a lawyer. So I'm like, maybe this fool could come down and fucking pull me out. And one of the cops seen, so they fucking ran in there and boom, rushed me again, started fucking me up. So they pepper spray me again. Then after they're done fucking me up, they get me, pick me up again, and they're taking me. And I don't know like exactly where I'm at, because I'm like pepper sprayed. So I'm just like, here, opening my eyes here and there, and I'm trying to look around. And I just know I'm in one of the mods. So they're taking me. And they're taking me to a lower tier. They rack the gate, and I remember I look up, and I seen this guy on the top tier, and he's walking up and down the tier, right? And I recognized him. And so I seen him. I'm like, okay, fucking, like, where the fuck am I at? So they take me all the way to the last cell, take me down there, boom. And the guy, I get down there, and they put me in the cell, and then the guy, after the cop leaves, the guy comes down and goes, hey, he knows me. So he's like, hey, man, it's what's up, homie? And I'm like, oh, what's up? And he says his name, and then I'm like, what the fuck? Like, hey, what's your name again? He says his name is Hood, or where he was from or whatever. And then I go, hey, where the fuck am I at, dog? He goes, oh, these fools tried to do me dirty, and they threw me on the fish roll, and then on the top tier was the pesetas.
Okay.
Yeah, so they were trying to like throw me over there to like, these fools could fucking try to do something to me, right?
Yeah.
So they throw me in the, I'm in my cell, and I'm fucking like, fuck, like what the fuck's going on? Like this is crazy, this is fucking crazy. So it turns chow time, and then there's this dude. He was like the hall, like the porter that cleaned all the whole floor. Like he would just be on the outside on the floor cleaning the shit. And so he would serve the trays, and on that row he would serve the trays. On the top he would just take the trays up there, leave them at the gate, and then they would pop one of them out. He would grab it, and that dude or whoever it was, and they would pass them out to them fools. So he's coming to give me my tray, and he sees me, and it is a white boy, and he's like, when he sees me, he goes, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing? Hey, fool, like, the homies or they're like, what happened? And they know something. They know that some shit happened with the cops. Like, what happened? I'm like, I don't know, bro. I don't know what's going on. Like, these was fucked me up. I was fucked up. They fucking cracked my ribs. Fucking, I had a black eye. Like, I was all fucked up. And so I'm like, they fucked me up, dog. And so he ran me down the whole situation, like what was going on in the streets and shit. So I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, all right.
At first, you didn't know what was going on. I mean, were you putting two and two together?
No, I didn't know until that dude told me. He ran me down the story, what happened. I'm like,
yeah.
And I'm like, fuck. Like, all right. So now I know, okay, this is why this happening. All right, cool.
Yeah.
And then it just so happened that, like, it literally just happened. So I was the first person that they took their aggression out on, So I got it like bad, like
yeah, man.
Yeah. So like
I heard they don't do that no more.
I heard it got cleaned up, but
yeah.
So these fools were fucking doing me dirty though. They were fucking me up, and then so they had me in that cell, and then so this fool tells me where he's at or whatever, and I'm just like, all right, whatever, fuck it, I'm done talking to this fool. So he's telling his guys up there, like, oh, this fool down here, this is where he's from. He's active, like fucking, be on your toes and this and that. And so I'm like, oh shit, all right.
Because
cool.
it's PCs up top.
Yeah, so I'm like, all right, cool. But it's like, I can't get to them, they can't get to me anyways.
Yeah.
So, but just in case
you gotta watch out. You don't want someone dropping a dookie on you or something.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
so for sure. And they
dirty.
No, they were trying to do shit like that. They would try to throw shit like from the top. They would try to throw stuff down, because they knew what cell I was in and shit. And then, so fucking. It was so daily. So I was there for like maybe like a week. They just had me right there by myself. And then daily the cops would come and try to take me out of my cell. But they have the jailers. Like they're not actual sheriffs.
Yeah.
So there was the jailer that worked there. It was crazy. So
jailers sometimes are kind of cool. Some of them.
So this one that was there.
I mean, I've seen a couple jailers that were cool. Go ahead.
I met him. He had like being there for a while. Like he told me one time that he actually grew up in my neighborhood. So his mom grew up in my neighborhood. So as a kid, he kind of grew up there up to like about a teenager. So he knew some of my homies that were his age. And so when all this shit was going on, just so happened by luck, he was the jailer. Mm-hmm. So every time the cops would come to open my cell, rack the gate, he'd be like, fuck no. Like, hell no, I'm not getting caught up in that shit. Fuck you. And he would tell them, and they would leave. And then and then they would come back. And then just one day it just got to the point where he said, you know what, fucking, well, I'm leaving. Fuck this shit. Like, I'm taking off. And basically, like, if you guys open the gate, you open the gate, right? So by that time, I had already, we get crafty in our cells and shit. And I, made me a thing. And if I was ready, I was like, fucking to the point where it was just like, if these fools are gonna try to kill me or some shit. So I was like, that's where my mind was at. Like, fuck this shit.
Yeah,
so,
war.
So
war
I fucking now, I straight up made me a thing.
Like, you ain't cuffing up, bro.
Nah.
Yeah.
And so I made me a thing, and I fucking had that shit and I always had it wrapped in my shower roll, and I would have it on the desk. And so they came one day and they're telling me, oh, you're going to shower or whatever. And I'm like, all right, fuck it, I'll go to shower. I ain't tripping. So fucking they take me to shower. They're gonna take me to shower, but these fools, they had just took them to the shower. So they're gonna take me and throw me in the shower, like to the wolves, basically. Like, so fucking.
So the top tier was in the showers.
They had them in the shower, so they took them. I know that. So they're like, oh, you're going to shower. I'm like, all right, fuck it, whatever. Boom, boom. They cuff me up. And they're gonna take me to the shower, and as I'm walking out, so before this, At the time in the county, there was this lady. Her name was, I don't know if any of you guys were there at the time. Her name was Sister Patty.
I've heard of Sister Patty.
Okay, so Sister Patty used to every other week, she would call certain people. We go to the chapel and she would just have us watching movies all day.
Yeah.
And so me and my co-defendant my crimey at the time, we would always go. And so during this time while this is all going on with me, and she ran into him, she said, "Hey, what's up with Gennaro? Where is he at?" And he kind of ran it down to her. So, but we don't know where he's at. So she went, I guess, and got with the OSJs, the gang units in the county.
Yeah.
And I guess she told them like the situation. So they went looking for me, and it just so happened that day they're taking me to the shower. I walk out. Well, they're walking me out, and I get to the hallway to the hallway. Fucking there's these two sheriffs that always see me around while I was fighting. The time that I had been in the county, and so they said, "Hey," so one of them puts his hand on my chest and he stops the hoot on. He says, "Hey, what the fuck you doing?" He's, "Oh, he's going to shower." And he's like, No, he's not. And then fucking they're like, "No, he's going to shower." And then the cop looks at me like, "You going?" And I said, "Yeah." And he was like, so he's confused, like, what the fuck, So then they start walking me, and then as I'm walking, boom, Sister Patty comes around the corner. She comes out from the escalator, and she see me, and she's like, "Gennaro." And I turned around, and then the OSJ said, "Hey, stop!" And they put him against the fucking wall. So they put me against the wall. They start searching me. Cop grabs the shower roll, boom, fucking unfolds it, and that shit falls out. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
And he looked at the cops like, "Oh, you fools are stupid motherfuckers. You were gonna put him in the shower right now?" Like, and then and on top of that, I wasn't even supposed to be on. I was supposed to be in the gang module. I wasn't supposed to be on the main line. But I just slipped through on that time going through processing, and I made it to the main line. So they were like, one, this fool's not even supposed to be on the main line. He's supposed to be slammed in the gang module, and two, you motherfuckers were gonna throw him in there, and boom.
They're gonna throw you in with a bunch of PCs.
Yeah, and I had a piece.
Yeah.
So that saved me from that situation, and not just that, it's crazy. It was I was telling my mom this story one time, but I never told her that before that happened, before they were taking him out to the shower, I wrote her a letter. Like basically telling her like
what's happening with you.
No, not telling her what happened, kind of like my piece, like bye.
Oh shit, like that.
Because something could have happened to me. Like, if
Yeah.
these dudes were going to kill me, like, and luckily that letter never made it out.